As I wake up, I wonder, will today be a dream or will it be a nightmare? Well, let's see. Let's get the phone out. And is the car there? Yes, it is. The Bravado EVX 2.14 million. Personally, I've been waiting for this for a long time, so let's get one ordered in red. We'll skip the customization for now. I'll release it as a separate video explaining what I've done and even where the colour came from. But for now, let's get it out of the garage, fully upgraded and drive. Oh. Straight from the off, I'm a bit disappointed. This car does not feel particularly fast. There was quite a lethargy in the way it accelerated, but I mean, this is only my first few seconds with the car. So let's get it parked up, take a proper look, compare with the photos, and then we'll test it. The car's based, of course, on the Dodge Charger EV, in this case the Banshee, the fastest of them all, and overall it does look pretty good. It's certainly very recognisable. I don't really like the 1969 Charger impressions into the door. Nice reference by Rockstar, I guess, to help copyright infringement, but of course they're not there on the real thing. And a few other small things like the way the grille is split and small subtle changes to various shapes. But overall, well done Rockstar, you have definitely made a very recognisable copy of the Charger EV. Also thank you to Dodge for making it back as a two-door as well. Now in real life this car has all sorts of speakers and sound generators to make it sound sort of like a muscle car. In game it doesn't, it sounds silent. On these initial miles then, the car doesn't feel horrible to drive, it feels quite reasonable to drive. I mean, the interior here is obviously off any old car because it's got a standard automatic transmission on it. I'm enjoying the handling so far. If you push it a bit, the back will come out, which is really what you would hope for, and it feels fairly smooth over the bumps. But there is something about it, there's a lethargy, there's a weight really. I think that's what I'm noticing. The car really does feel like it weighs 2.5 tons, and maybe it does, and maybe that's what Rockstar are referencing with the feel of the car, but I can't help but think that Dodge would have made a better job than this at disguising the mass of this car. A lot of makers of electric cars have managed to do just that. So we're approaching the LS Car Meet test track. I thought I'd come down here partly because I want the white lights. I also need to put a spoiler on the back of the car to make it fair when I test it against other cars, even though it will of course come off later. I don't know if it was a bug, but it simply would not let me mod the car here, so in fact I did it later at Customs. Driving around this track was such a disappointing experience, there's no other way of putting it. The car is so heavy, every corner you have to slow down so much, and then every corner it takes quite a pull to get out of the corner. Now I have a golden rule, if you can get around here in under a minute, the car's okay. It's nothing special, you need to be down in about the 50-second range for it to be really special. Well, this took 1 minute and 2 seconds-ish to get round. Very slow laps, really disappointing. For comparison, I took the Buffalo STX round here, and that was doing them in 57 point something. That's of course the fastest muscle car in the game, so we're behind that. It also felt nicer. I also, just to take a good EV round, took the Ocelot Virtue, the Lotus Evija round, and that went round in about 52 seconds and was such a fantastically more enjoyable experience than this. Moving on to the lap, and I'm using this also really as the bulk of my road test because I want to get this video out quite quickly. The good bits, the car handles I think very nicely, it rides the bumps well, and if you keep it balanced it corners pretty nicely with a smidge of oversteer. It is of course very easy to get the back out more, but we can't really knock it for that. The brakes are pretty good actually, but with the weight of the car they do take a little longer to stop the car than you may have expected. I think what really lets it down is the acceleration, which it's okay, as I mentioned before, but there's that lethargy when it gets going. It's the opposite of the immediate punch you expect from an electric vehicle. And I don't know what the top speed is, because of course we wait for Bruffy for all these figures, but it doesn't feel very high. The combination of the two saw me round in approximately 57.5 seconds. I haven't put the usual time up because the disc I was recording this to actually ran out of space. I didn't realise, so I don't have that best lap to show you. But I was a little under 56 seconds with the Buffalo STX, so this car is not, I'm afraid, competitive, although I do think it's probably a little faster than it actually feels. This video will be followed very quickly by the customization video and a build sheet, so don't worry about that. To rate the car, I give it 5 stars for looks. We've talked about the changes, but it's so obviously the Charger EV, so yeah, well done on that. For driving, I'm going to give it 3 stars. I've taken off 1 point for being not competitive in the class, and another for just not really doing what I expect an EV to do. It's not actually a bad driving experience, but for what it is, I think it's a bit disappointing. And value for money, likewise, I'm coming in at 3 stars. 2.4 million when you've done it all up, and you don't really have the best of driving experiences. So is this the car for you? Well, if like me you've made a space in a dedicated EV collection, then of course this is the car for you. Buy it, customise it and place it in your collection. You'll be very happy. As a collector, you don't really mind what it costs within reason. But for everybody else, I find this car extremely hard to recommend. I think you'll have a lot more fun with other muscle cars in the game. You'll win more races with something like the Buffalo STX, and you can put the money towards something else. Anyway, here it is in my collection. I must remember to remove that spoiler, but it looks really good. If you've bought this, please do share your experiences down below. It would be very helpful for other people. And if you've enjoyed this or got value, please give me a like. It would so much help the channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching.